I'm Trey Bailey, and I'm an executive pastor with a multi-site church in Metro Atlanta. I graduated from a secular college with a business degree and an IT degree, and then I answered the call to go into full-time ministry. Now, coming from a secular college, I was really not prepared for full-time ministry. My degree certainly didn't prepare me for it, but I went into ministry a little bit naive and certainly with a lot of faith. And so I began my ministry journey that way. Then once my faith began to grow and deepen, and once I began preparing sermons and teaching Bible studies and preparing for those things, I realized there was a lot I didn't know about Scripture, and maybe even more that I didn't understand. And that's when I knew the next step for me would have to be some sort of continuing education. I knew that I needed to grow in my knowledge, but also grow in my grace. And so I began praying about the next step, if seminary was for me. Now, I didn't think that I was a seminary kind of person. I didn't think I had the time for it, and I didn't think I could afford it. But in my prayer and my journey to find a seminary that fit with me, I was looking for something that was theologically sound, that was biblically grounded, biblically centered, and then it was flexible. Flexibility was a big deal for me because here I am, 16 years in full-time ministry, and I got a wife and 3 kids and a mortgage. I didn't have time for seminary, I didn't think. But that's when I found Luther Rice Seminary. Luther Rice was flexible enough. It offered me distance education where I could take my classes online. I could do it at my own pace, and that really worked well with my schedule. But at the same time, I just began to grow in my knowledge of Scripture. I began to grow in my application of Scripture, and even the way in which I was able to teach and train and disciple the people in my congregation. It was a real game changer. Now, if you're like me, you may be thinking, do I need seminary? Do I have time for seminary? Or can I even afford it? Those were all the questions that I had in my mind as well. But once I got in there and took my first class, I knew this was the place for me. I just knew that as I began to grow and develop, that these classes and this curriculum, this was exactly what I needed in order to be a better minister of the gospel. I was able to teach better, able to preach better, and it even helped me in my own spiritual growth and development. So if you're contemplating or you're praying about attending seminary, let me just tell you, Luther Rice is the place for you. It's affordable, and yes, you do have time. Because of the flexibility, the online schedules, you can take classes at your own pace. And Luther Rice gives you even an opportunity to pay for it monthly. And I can promise you this, the investment that I've put in is tiny compared to the results I've seen in my ministry and in the ministry at my church.